Welcome back to the Red Right Head podcast. In stereo. Surround sound. This podcast is all around you.
And inside you.
Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
Welcome back to the Red Right Hand podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of the final season and the final episode of the Peaky Blinders. I'm Josh.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are back for the last episode of the Peaky Blinders.
Can you believe it?
It doesn't feel like we've been doing this for, like 9 months?
I was about to say, well, to be honest, if I was thinking about it the other day, it feels like we've been doing it since 2020, but it was only 2021 when we started this. So yeah, it's been over a year since we've been doing this.
That's a full-term pregnancy right there.
Okay.
You could have made a baby at the beginning of the show starting and it would be born now.
Okay.
That's some heavy stuff.
Alrighty. If that happened to you, let us know. Leave us a comment or a review.
If you had a Red Right Hand podcast, baby.
And you named him Josh or Curtis. Props to you, man. There's got to be a super fan out there, right?
Part of me hopes that that's not even a possibility.
You never know.
How'd you feel about this? I was glad they did an hour and a half. I think on a finale, especially in a short season like they have, it's nice to give a little bit longer in those episodes, because then you almost get like an extra like half episode out of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, of season 6, this is definitely my favorite episode for sure.
Yeah.
Lot going on, but we talked about it before too. I mean, there's a lot of loose ends. It seems like they kind of left, not a whole lot, but I mean, there's some loose ends that they left, at the end of the episode, to hopefully tie into like a movie or a spinoff or whatever. But other than that, I thought it was a good episode.
There's like two major loose ends, I guess, It's like, well,
Okay.
in my mind, it's Tommy and then it's Finn,
Well, okay, how about 3 then? How about a third one? What about Arthur?
Yeah, but I
mean, you kind of get a hint of like what maybe happens to him, but you're not really sure. But I get what you're saying though. I mean, those two are definitely up there.
Yeah. I feel like Arthur is probably walking away, at the end of this. Like,
yeah,
at
but
least
he made it
from,
sound like good.
well, at least from I think their business, maybe. Like, I don't know. I just kind of got the feeling that after the stuff happened with the IRA, that like he was just like, all right, like this is done,
He made it seem like to me like he was gonna kill himself.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to join Tommy.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there are a few more loose ends there because it's been a month like since Tommy went out there and nobody knows if he's alive or dead.
Right, exactly.
So
and only he, the doctor, and then all the evil people knew that his tuberculoma wasn't real.
Yeah. That all gets pretty rough. There were a couple things in the episode too that I noticed on second watch that I didn't notice the first time, and they were just kind of, I guess, smaller things, but it was foreshadowing for sure, and I just like didn't, it just kind of blew right by me.
Yeah. But yeah, for sure.
Before we go any further, put this on for the last time.
For the last time.
I'm not wearing it for the mini-sode.
I was just about the same thing. I'm not gonna wear
The
it for the
tidy
tiny
sode.
sode,
Yeah.
dude.
Not
I'm
doing
not
it.
wearing it.
Yeah.
This was the season 6 thing. We're ending it after that, people.
This is the end.
It's a little tight on the head, so
Yeah.
I've lost so much hair in this season, man. Yeah, let's get into it.
So the last episode ends with Michael reiterating once again that he's going to kill Tommy. Shocker.
What?
Yeah,
No,
nobody saw that
surely
coming.
not. What?
Yeah. So he gets out of jail and it's just all made pretty clear that he's going to kill Tommy. Like that's his plan. There's not going to be any forgiveness here. There's not going to be any change of heart. Like he's already decided what he's going to do.
There's no plan B. It's just plan A.
Yeah. Yeah, and this episode really just picks up right where everything left off the last episode, because the very next scene is Lizzie. I'm thinking like the next morning after they had that dinner with Jack Dempsey.
Yeah. Jack Dempsey.
What is his name? Jack
Nelson.
Nelson. I don't know why I said Dempsey. Who's Jack Dempsey?
Isn't that that's a real person, wasn't it? Wasn't he a boxer? He was a boxer, I think. Jack Dempsey, I think, was a boxer back in the day. I think.
Yeah, boxer.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Was he the one that trying to think if he was the one
that was really, really early in boxing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if he's the one that what's his name? Portrayed in Raging Bull. Robert De Niro. I'm trying to think if that's who he portrayed in that movie. No, he didn't. Okay, never mind. No, that was somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Anyway,
about that.
he was a boxer back in the day. Famous boxer. Jack Nelson.
Yeah,
not
Jack
so
Nelson.
famous.
So yeah, we pick up there with Tommy and Lizzie the next morning, and she's upset. I think the two main things we can kind of tell that she's upset about, obviously, like just the fact that he cheated on her, but it's more about that he's out there doing that when Ruby, they're like still in mourning, like Ruby had just died, and that also that Lady Diana is like their enemy,
Right. I mean, it's like she was almost like fine with anybody, but I mean, her, come on, man. Yeah, that's over the top. No.
Yeah. She says that she is all of our enemies roll into one.
I could agree with that.
Yeah. Another interesting thing that I thought that she said in there was that Tommy is cursed. He's cursed to never know his limitations, like to know the limitations of a normal man.
Right.
And we're getting a lot of back and forth, like in the first part of the episode, like a lot of short scenes that are just moving along this, the last part of the story here, kind of setting up the main events,
the finale.
Which are, the stuff at Arrow House, which, why do all these houses have like the coolest names? Like remember before with the Russians, it was Wilderness House.
Yep.
Like, I mean, Arrow House was where Tommy lived.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on at Arrow House. the stuff going on with Arthur, and
The pub,
then
yeah.
what's the third one? Oh, Tommy and Michael. Duh.
Yeah. Duh.
And everybody Tommy's talking with, kind of when he was talking with Lizzie, and then these next couple scenes, he's telling everybody where he's about to go, which is Canada, to make the exchange with Michael.
Yeah.
And it was the opium for £5 million, right? Or $5
Right,
million
yep.
dollars. I don't remember what
I think it was
what they were.
pound.
Was it pounds?
One or the other. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. 5 million
Money.
monies.
5 million monies.
So little Charlie,
Do
Uncle
it.
Charlie. Uncle Charlie wants to go and live with Lizzie. He's like, I can't take it anymore, Dad. So yeah, little Charlie just wants to be with Lizzie. We've
You're
seen
not
that
my
Tommy's
mom,
just like
but you're
really
more my
distant.
mom than he's my dad.
Yeah. Tommy's just really distant from him. He's just like not
Yeah.
there to be a father to him. And Ruby's death like really rocked him too. So now he's even less there for them.
Mhm.
So yeah, he wants
And
to
I
go
think
and
too with his sickness pushes him even further away
yeah.
because he's trying to get everything done before he ends up being incapacitated.
Yeah. So Charlie's gonna go and live with Lizzie. Tommy's he's got a property that he's bought that he was gonna bulldoze to build some more housing, and instead he's gonna give Lizzie that property, and her and Charlie can live there. He's gonna take Ruby's horse with him. Which is that the horse from the end?
Yeah, I believe so. I assume it is because it's the same color.
Yeah.
So he basically lied to Charlie that he could have the horse.
He's like,
Never
actually,
mind, I
I'm
take it back.
taking the horse,
I'm
Charlie.
taking the horse.
Yeah. So Charlie takes Duke. So this is when we start seeing kind of what Tommy's plan for Duke is going to be going forward in their organization. And Charlie takes him to the armory, and he tells him, yeah, it's just more kind of foreshadowing. He tells him, you're not going to be a normal soldier. You're going to be a general. Yeah, and he's asking him different questions. He asked him what he's shot before, what he's killed. And that's when we find out, we talked a little bit last episode about how Duke left the betting shop when Billy strangled the ref who wouldn't take the money.
Right. But it's so weird because he said they asked him, or Uncle Charlie asked him, why'd you run away? And he said, because it was unfair. But then he goes on to say that he's killed a man, and that man was a wardley or a doctor, somebody at a hospital. I don't remember which one, or a nurse. Maybe it was just a nurse. And he killed him because the person refused his mother a bed at the hospital when she was dying because she had no insurance because she was a gypsy. So he ended up killing her. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's like, well, then you killed him out of unfairness, basically.
Yes, but I think you got to look at it like more like he's willing to kill for family.
Okay.
Rather
than just something simple as a person who won't with the betting stuff. Okay.
Like he wouldn't take the bribe, and so instead of like giving him the beating or whatever, they decided to kill him. and in his head that like just wasn't justified, it wasn't an
Yeah.
enemy like coming after them, it wasn't a traitor among them,
True. Yeah.
like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
like bigger issues.
Okay.
So I think that's how he sees it, more like, when you take a man's life it should probably be necessary.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Or like,
Sometimes you just gotta talk these things out.
retribution, like
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah.
Boo, boo. And then that's when Uncle Charlie kind of brings him in on what they know already about Billy.
Yeah.
So he asks
Can you
him,
keep a
yeah,
secret?
can you keep a secret? Um, this is kind of a depressing scene. It's kind of like it starts out kind of funny, but then it does take a pretty depressing turn. And it's Arthur in Tommy's office, and he's found out that
Yeah.
Tommy has tuberculoma. Um, and yeah, he's just like he's beat down because Tommy didn't tell anybody, and I don't know. It's a tough question. Like and I feel like it's a question that's asked a lot, like in real life. It's like, what's worse, like not telling people that they're gonna, the people around you that they're gonna lose you, or telling them and, like,
Forcing them to watch you. I mean, like you said, like watch him crawl
yeah,
and be not able to take care of himself. Yeah, I know. I don't know. That's tough, man.
yeah.
It's all
So,
in a matter of
and
perspective, I guess.
yeah, and he doesn't want to, they're like not to that point even. So, like, he
Right.
doesn't want, everybody like trying to cater to him, for the next while. He doesn't need that information getting out to his enemies,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of reasons to keep this quiet.
Well, and the other thing too is like he knows he needs to keep his mind focused on finishing the task at hand, like you said. And if he told, I mean, hell, if he told Lizzie, think about everything Lizzie would try to get him to do. You need to stop what you're doing. You need to go to the doctor. You need to do this. You need to, no, I need to focus on what I need to do because, it's like the doctor told me, it's inoperable. I'm going to die from it, supposedly. And, it's like, well, I need to go ahead and make do the time that I have to get done with all this stuff. So you guys, the family, don't have to worry about anything, don't have to worry about our enemies, don't have to worry about financial or whatever, And I think with Arthur, yeah, he did mention the whole thing of like not even telling Lizzie and the family and everything. But I think really for him, he gets really pissed off because like he didn't even get told. It's like him and Tommy tell each other everything. They've been through so much together. So it's like you almost feel betrayed that this one thing you're not even getting told about. And it's like
Yeah.
you're just gonna disappear, you're just gonna leave me. And I think on top of that too, it's like right now, especially with his addiction in this season, he's really leaned a lot on Tommy to get through a lot of stuff. And so it's like now I'm not going to have that crutch anymore. I'm not going to have that person to lean on. And you weren't even wanting to tell me that that was going to happen. You were just going to let me fall over when you disappear.
Yeah. I can definitely see it from both sides.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough
Um,
scene though, man. I mean, for sure.
one of the funny parts though is like I love when Tommy's like he just keeps telling him, like what the plan is, that this is,
Yeah.
the business at hand, blah, blah. And then he tells him, I've drawn up these contracts. And Arthur just like, he's like, fuck your fucking contracts.
Well, like the way he says it too, it's like he gets really high on like contracts or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, oh God. Yeah, I did laugh at that part.
Yeah. And then the other note I just made of that scene is just like, yeah, like you were saying, like Arthur feels really alone, you know. He feels like now that he's gonna be the last, like, of
Right.
the three of them.
Well, and not even that. I mean, he raised his drink to the picture of John.
Mhm.
So yeah, now he's already lost John, and you know how much he was affected by that.
Yeah.
Then now he thinks he's going to lose Tommy. Plus, he already knows about, the whole thing going on with Billy, I almost said Billy Kimber, Billy, and then they already know that it's like they're gonna have to test Finn on
Because
his
they don't
loyalty.
trust
So
him.
it's
Yeah.
like you don't even know if he's gonna be able to be in the family still,
Yeah.
So
Um,
and then on top of that, I'm sure he's still reeling from Aunt Polly dying and everything too.
yeah.
So he's got a lot going on.
Yeah. Um, so then we have the meeting um at the garrison. This is the one that I said was technically like the last meeting. It's not a full
Yeah.
family meeting, but this is all the people that Tommy trusts in a room, excluding Billy and
Finn.
Finn.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this scene a little bit?
Well, and they just, they gather everybody and they talk about, um, the truth. How was it? What was it in Romany? Techipin?
I think, yeah,
I think it
something
was
like that.
Techipin. Yeah. So he keeps talking about, for those who know the truth, the truth, the truth. Well, they talk about, he keeps saying all that stuff in Romany. And, they had mentioned about, um, Finn not learning it. All the brothers knew it, but he didn't learn it growing up. But he says he kind of picked up on some of it and he knew what that word was. So he kind of gets, kind of suspicious on, why you keep saying that word. What do you mean the truth? The truth. And so, but Tommy just kind of lays out the plans of, hey, where I'm getting rid of Arrow House. We're going to demolish it. We're going to build affordable housing on it. I need all of you guys to, go in, clean up a bunch of stuff that's in there, guns, drinks, different stuff like that. And then the final thing he wants them to do is to dig up a bunch of the bodies that are on the ground, which is kind of interesting. I kind of wonder, who all's bodies are there. I wonder, now that I say that, the one I can think right off the top of my head would be the Russian guy from the first episode of season 3, whatever his name was, the guy that they ended up killing because they said he was a spy for the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
And
about?
then, yeah, him. And then also the one I was thinking of was, I can't remember his name, but he was the Italian who Sabini sent. Or
Oh yeah, that's
was it Sabini or was it the other one?
in the season 2.
No, season 3.
On season 3.
Yeah, it was like close to the beginning. Because remember, he was like a he was like an
You mean
assistant to the
season?
cook.
You mean? Oh
Was it
yeah, but you're
season
talking about
4?
season 4. Yeah, it'd be season
Okay,
4.
okay,
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about
yeah.
now.
And he had
But anyway,
Johnny
so
bury him.
yeah, okay. So those, at least those two. I'm sure there's more that we don't even know about. Lord.
Yeah,
But anyway, so he's gonna get Isaiah to head that mission up, and he's also inviting Finn and Billy to be there too. He kind of says it's going to be kind of a celebration, a party to kind of clear out Arrow House before it's demolished. And at which at that point, Arthur says, I'll be here at the pub celebrating my anniversary with my wife. Bullcrap. Uh, and then they talked about where Tommy's going to be. He's going to be up in Canada meeting Michael to finish out the deal with the opium. But it's funny because, obviously Arthur drops that hint about where he's going to be because they know that Billy's listening and he's going to report to the IRA about that because the IRA are the ones who are going to be taking care of Arthur while
yeah,
Michael takes care of Tommy. So, but yeah, the whole theme of that scene is how did I say it? Tepechi, or something like that. Anyway, truth.
yeah.
So, yeah. setting us up for the three major scenes that
They're
are
just
coming.
so stupid. Like, it's so
Who?
obvious. Like, Billy and Finn. Like, it's so obvious that they're like dropping like all these major, like, like they're giving too much detail. Like, why did
Yeah,
Arthur need to tell them where he would also be?
that's kind of what I
Like
wondered
that was
too.
super
Yeah,
unnecessary. And then they keep saying, because they know Finn doesn't speak Romani, they keep speaking it and saying all that stuff about truth. And so, like, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Was that a sneeze?
Yeah, I tried sneezing 3 times and it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Uh
That's shit. No, I'm just kidding.
um so yeah, it just seems really obvious. Like, I feel like they
Yeah,
should
it's.
know that something's going on.
But I think the other thing too is like they're Billy's stupid.
Yeah.
Billy's stupid in general, and then I think Finn is just kind of so out of it that it's whatever. Of course, at the same time, the other the other part of that scene is uh when they're talking about at the very beginning about having whiskey or whatever, and he's like, nope, nope. Mary says I can't have any until after 6 p.m. And at the very end, Tommy tells him, he's like, what's her name? Mary? Mary, you tell Mary that you're a Shelby. And that, see that? It's right there on your watch or whatever. And it's like, you tell the time when it's 6 o'clock. You make it 6 o'clock when you want it to be, you know?
Oh yeah, he's
You
saying,
just
like, do
whipped it, bro.
you own the watch, or does the watch
Own
own
you.
you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you,
Yeah, exactly.
the watch doesn't tell you what time it is, you tell the watch what time it is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So after the scene at the bar, um Michael gets back home to Gina. Gina gets a call from the informant, and she wants Michael to kind of wipe out the whole organization all at once. Like, any possibility of anybody coming after them now or in the future, because she recommends that they kill Duke and little Charlie.
Yeah.
But Michael won't do that. So
Weird. He actually has principles.
yeah. Well, I don't think he's compromised everything. He's just super hell-bent on,
I was going to say, when you're fixated on one thing for 6 episodes,
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
he's
going
only
to
been
kill
out
Thomas
of
Shelby.
he's only been out of prison the first episode and the 6th episode.
This is true.
I did appreciate not having to hear from him very much, though.
Thank you, Stephen Knight. Thank you.
Yeah, that was all right. So this is when Tommy meets Lady Diana in the house, and he gives her a list of was it people who were basically about to like be foreclosed on, or
Yeah, I didn't really understand that part.
it's like a list of wealthy families who, like, basically have a bunch of vices that ties up a bunch of their money,
Okay.
and they're like about to lose their homes. Like, their homes are about to be foreclosed on, these
Okay.
big places with a bunch of land. And so he wants her to convince them to let him purchase the land
Mm,
for all his housing
Bruce
stuff that he's
housing.
doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's been their whole thing.
I think I kind of shut down on that scene because it's got two very evil people that I'm over with.
Yeah. God. Yeah. I'm so sick of seeing the two of them. Yeah, it's just a weird scene too. Like, he
Yeah.
gives her that info and then mostly comes in to invite him to the wedding, and then says that after the wedding, if Tommy even looks at Diana, he'll kill him. And that's like the scene. I don't know. It's just kind of an odd one.
And scene.
Yeah. I mean, the wedding drop is important because later on he puts all the pieces together,
Right. Right. Well, I definitely think that Mosley translate into our modern time, he probably was trying to tell Tommy this.
Respect, bitch. He's like, you will respect me, bitch.
Exactly.
Respect, bitch. Oh God. So Michael and the rest of the goon squad get to Canada, and
The Goon Squad.
yeah,
Like
these
it.
guys are
Love it.
all these guys are all like so weird looking.
Yeah, they're a little strange.
Um, and they've got something in a bag that they're being really
A
careful with.
purse.
A purse.
A purse.
What was your initial thought? Did you think like bomb? I thought maybe like nitroglycerin or something, you know?
I just assumed it was a bomb
Yeah. And I don't
or
know
dynamite or
exactly
what
what
you
was
want to
going on
know.
there. There's definitely some liquid in a thing, and then a few sticks of dynamite attached to a timer.
Yeah.
Um, and they're going to use that to kill Tommy. Basically, the plan is to put it um, in the car that Michael and Tommy will be in, and
Except Michael
Michael,
won't be in the car.
yeah, but Michael won't be in the car, and the bomb will go off.
Right.
Um, just kind of in between there because panning around between a few scenes.
Well, how about we just break it down one scene at a time instead of going back and forth between all the scenes? How about that?
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So
Um,
you want to stick with the this one or you want to go to
yeah, yeah. It's
okay.
just well,
Let's go to Arrow House first. I think we should go Arrow House and then the pub and then Tommy and
and
Michael.
then back to this.
And then yeah.
Okay,
So I
all
feel
right,
like that's more of a better progression.
yeah, okay. So the next scene is the blinders setting up shop at Arrow House. Um,
Props
aside,
to
but
Francis, man.
yeah, well,
They give her some credit in this episode for sure, man. For being
yeah,
loyal and everything. So
yeah. No, she, Isaiah gives her the compliment, and gives her the cash to get everybody out of the house. All the workers and
right,
servants
yeah.
and stuff. Um, and yeah, then towards the end of the episode, she gets that place at the table, so I
Yep.
really felt like they were kind of bringing her in.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so after dark, Billy and Finn show up. They're both wasted. And of course, still can't read the room and figure
Where's
out
the
what's about to
girls?
happen to them. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there's no girls. Why don't you guys just follow me back to the kitchen? We haven't been drinking, but there's alcohol back there in the back
Exactly.
in the kitchen.
We got to go to the kitchen to
It's
get
this way.
it. Follow me.
Yeah. Um. So, so they go to the back, and they kind of Duke's just kind of messing with him at first. He starts like shooting that Tommy gun off for a minute, and um,
That was a pretty sick scene.
yeah, like one weird thing was like, why did Finn want to go dig up the bodies? He was
I don't
like,
know.
yeah, we
See,
can do
well,
anything. I want to go dig up the bodies.
but here's the thing about it. I think he's still dealing with what we talked about from last season in the beginning of he's still trying to find his place and he wants to be involved
Yeah,
in the brothers' business and what they're doing and everything, but he just can't really find a place. So I think something like this, he's really trying to jump on it, because you could tell in the last well, I guess it was technically the last thing, when they were at the meeting at the pub, and when Tommy said, Isaiah, you're in charge of this little project mission, whatever. You could tell Finn kind of took offense to that. He kind of looked at like Isaiah, like seriously, what about me? I'm your own brother. You're not going to give me this responsibility. So I think
Yeah.
he's trying to show that he's like, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever as long as I can gain your respect. Well, it's a little too late for that,
Yeah.
because you've already screwed us over
Yeah.
because you can't get
Well,
your mouth shut.
it's not too late yet, but it's about to be too late.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And then I did like how Duke said, he's like, we can't dig up the bodies until all of them are buried. And
That was a good
yeah.
line.
So yeah, they tie Billy up. Or no, I guess they don't, but they've got him in the chair.
Yeah.
They
They've beaten him pretty good.
yeah, they beat
Just,
on
I
him a
don't
little
know.
bit.
That was my one beef with this episode. It was like it's really weird. It's like, okay, well then how do we get from this one part when they're talking about when he's shooting off the Tommy gun, and he's talking about we got one, you can't dig up all the bodies until they're all buried. How do we get from that to now we're, I guess, in like the kitchen or something? Billy's beat up in the face pretty good. He's all bloody and everything, sitting in a chair. And then Finn's over there. I mean, obviously they have a gun on him and everything, but it's like, how did we get to this part? I would kind of like to see that and not just jump to that,
Yeah. Yeah, they did just
I
kind of
really
glide
didn't.
over that.
Yeah, I really didn't like that.
But they basically give Finn a choice that he's got to kill Billy or walk away from the family. And he doesn't want to kill Billy, so he takes the gun and points it at Isaiah and Duke and tries to fire twice before Duke gets the gun away from him.
Yeah.
And he says that Uncle Charlie told him that before you give Finn the gun, you take out the first 2 rounds. And yeah, it turns out that they couldn't trust him.
Yep. Worked out perfectly.
Now, do I think he would have ever done that to Tommy or Arthur? No. But
now, I mean, well, you could tell he's kind of got a little bit of rivalry going with, obviously, again, Isaiah.
yeah,
And then I think now he resents, I think he definitely resents Duke coming into the family and kind of basically jumping ahead of him in the pecking order.
yeah. And then Duke just kind of casts him out. He says that he's out of their family. And then he gives his first by order of the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really like the changing of the guard right here, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Respect, bitch. And then that is the end of their storyline.
Yes.
Because the only
Goodbye,
place
Arrow
that Duke,
House.
yeah, the only place that Duke comes back in is at their little dinner in the woods.
Yeah. Real quick, want to ask you. I don't want him to take up too long, but what'd you think of his performance? Was this Nick Conrad something?
I
What'd you
liked
think of his
it.
performance? Me too. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It was interesting though. I mean, I knew he was coming on and he was kind of like Stephen Graham. He was kind of a mystery character until you finally saw him. So I was very interested to see who he was going to be. And when they introduced him as Tommy's illegitimate son, it was kind of like, what? Okay, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I didn't mind it. I liked his whole story thread. So
Yeah, I agree. All right, on to Arthur.
okay, so Arthur is waiting in the pub. And
These
they're
next
just
2 scenes are like my favorites of the 3 for sure.
what are you talking about?
Well, this one with Arthur, what
Uh-huh.
him and Charlie
Uh,
and Jeremiah too, and then the whole Michael and Tommy thing. I think these two scenes are really, really good.
yeah.
They're some of my favorites. Is what I'm trying to say.
Um,
Especially with in this one, I think especially with Uncle Charlie. Well, for one thing, you finally get to see Uncle Charlie do some dirty work, which I thought was pretty cool. But I
yeah.
think it really kind of gives Arthur a good justified ending for his story.
Yeah.
That was a really good made up scene. So
Arthur
anyway,
goes
go ahead. I'll stop
into
interrupting.
Arthur goes into the garrison to wait for the trap that the IRA is kind of setting for them. Good.
What'd you think of when he asked that street preacher where Jeremiah was, and he says he's looking down from heaven? What'd you think from your first watch?
That was one of the things that I didn't realize until I watched it
Yeah,
again earlier.
the second time. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It would have given me, because there's so much like chaos in that scene,
Yeah,
and it would have given me a little more like assurance, because it seems bad from the get-go. But anyway, so they've got a few men in there. Arthur's in there, Charlie's in there, Lazarus, the guy on the street, and then Jeremiah is also up on one of the roofs or catwalks with a rifle.
a machine gun, basically.
Is it? I didn't.
Yeah, he's got the machine gun.
Okay.
Now the IRA's got a guy ends up going into the rafters too, and he's got a
Yeah.
sniper.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's there when they come out.
Yeah.
But they trick the IRA into thinking that Charlie is Arthur, and then they get them all and take them outside. And then that's where everything just kind of gets super confusing for a little bit.
Who do you think was on the phone call? You think that was Duke and them?
Yeah, maybe.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Or it may have been meant to be some kind of distraction. I don't know.
I was about to say that too. Maybe it was some type of distraction to get one of the guys away.
Yeah. Some lady's husband hadn't come home yet. He always hangs out at the garrison.
Where's he at?
He's worried.
Where's Charles?
So yeah, that's when everything kind of gets confusing outside. It's like hard to tell who's being shot, like who's shooting.
Yeah.
In the middle of that, like a family walks through. Like who just hears like all the
Crazy.
gunshots and then they're like, oh, we'll just walk through over here.
Do.
But I did like what the lady said. If you get lost in the fog, the Peaky Blinders get you.
Oh, is that what she said? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You didn't hear
I didn't
that?
hear that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Um,
That's interesting. Which is almost like foreshadowing for this next little part.
yeah.
Think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You people are watching my mind blow.
So yeah, then they just have it out, the IRA and I don't know. I mean, I guess the blinders.
Arthur got shot, man.
Yeah. Arthur gets shot, but he's fine.
Yeah.
And then or maybe, I mean, we don't really see him like after that scene, and then he's like down by the river catching a trout, like
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we
in
don't
this
really
scene,
know.
it definitely makes you think that he's gonna die because of how much blood was, spewed across that one column cylinder thingy,
Yeah.
So
And I wondered too, they kind of leave you hanging on Uncle Charlie also. Cause like
yeah,
they're sitting there like just the three of them, and then he walks like into frame past them back into the garrison.
yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, did Uncle Charlie die? And then like, no, he walks into frame, like, oh, okay, sweet.
No, he's good. Okay. Phew.
Yeah.
But yeah, the finisher though, man. I love it.
Oh
The
god,
mustard
yeah.
gas, man.
Yeah.
That'd be so
That's a sick
scary.
look too, with those like old gas masks and stuff, with
Yeah.
like super
Then coming in with the
steampunk.
Tommy gun.
Like yeah, the Tommy gun, the gas masks, and like the nice suits and everything. Like
Yes, dude,
yeah,
sick.
that's a cool look.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love this scene, man. It was just so good.
Yeah.
So well done.
Um.
And I think for as little action that we had from Arthur Mad Dog, it was a good fitting ending for him. So
mhm,
in the series at least.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact
Um.
though when it's all over and they're him and Jeremiah. And is that Lazarus that's sitting there at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, I always wondered who that guy was. Okay, so yeah, all three of them sitting there, and he tells Charlie, to leave him because they're still in France.
Yeah.
Their mind is still there. Just that's
Yep.
their
Yeah, and that
little
was one
their
thing
little
that
gift from Passchendaele.
Tommy mentioned, when they were in his office and arguing before. He's like, "How many years has it been since you and I died?"
Yep,
He's like, "At least now I'll have a certificate saying that I am dead."
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to
Michael and
Tommy and
Tommy.
Michael.
Yep.
Okay, you want to take the
do it.
reins on this one?
Man, so it's funny. Okay, so first off, did you notice the guy that when what'd you call Michael and the goon squad get to the hotel? First off, did you notice? I didn't realize it until this last time watching it through. The bartender says, they said we're waiting on a friend. He said, well, there's only one um guest in the hotel right now, so you can have a room if you want or whatever. And they said no, he'll be here before nightfall or something. So remember that for here a little bit.
That was the
And
other
then
thing.
I didn't realize that
Yeah,
till this time through.
same.
And then did you notice the guy at the end of the bar that joins them? That's the guy from the first episode that
Yeah,
was dissing Tommy.
that's why
And
Tommy, or that's why he like raises his glass to Tommy whenever he gets a
I
drink.
thought that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they come in, they're all prepared. Of course, that guy tells them, there's not going to be any boats that come in tonight, because there's a hurricane out there, whatever. And they said, well, he's going to be coming by airplane. Of course, then you get that whole scene of him just like shaking around in that airplane and everything. And
Mhm.
he ends up telling them he hates it, but they say it's the way of the future. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Anyway, so
Well, when he's in the
go ahead.
airplane, he's having all those memories of stuff from like the
Yes,
last two
that's true.
seasons.
That's right. Yeah.
Um, it's just
Flashbacks
kind
of Polly and Ruby's death and the tunnels and everything.
Yeah.
Everything's coming to a head right here. But you can definitely tell this is the big climax of the series right here. You don't know what's about to happen. So he's got a lot going through his mind as he's flying through the air there. But when they notice that his plane's landing, they go ahead and set the bomb, get it all ready to go, set the timer and everything. And they end up placing it, I think, in the trunk of the first car, which is going to be the car that Michael and Tommy get into. So Tommy gets there. They talk about, you take us to where the opium is, and then we'll end up giving you it was what, 5 million or $5 million or 5 million pounds, or we'll just call it 5 million monies. uh, so anyway, but did you notice at this point when they all get up and they start to head out the door, Michael leaves his pack of cigarettes. Did you notice though that Tommy's staring right at him
at the
as
cigarettes?
Michael gets it? Yeah, he's staring right at him.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, he's talking to Michael. Then Michael gets up as he's saying something. He walks away, and Tommy's looking right at his cigarette pack. So you already know something's up. Obviously, coming into it, I think you kind of get that feeling that, something's already going on. He's already on his guard because he knows, we was it the last episode he had said something to Gina at that hotel about, what's Michael's true intentions, and all if you lie to me, I'll know. And then she
Yeah.
lied, and he knows. He
Yeah.
knows this whole time, yeah. So anyway, so he's got that. He notices the cigarettes being left behind. They all walk out. Michael says, I'll go with Tommy. You guys follow. This part, I don't tell me if you might know. I don't get the signal written on the door. What is that supposed to be?
I don't know what it
Like
is, but it's
almost looks like a
Johnny.
watch. Well, yeah, but it almost looks, I'm trying to figure out like what the symbol is though. I get what it means and I get who did it, but it's like, I don't know. It almost kind of looks like a watch on a chain. It almost made me think of like a pin being pulled out, of like a grenade. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, he sees it and he automatically wipes it down, gets in the car as Michael tells him, "Oh, forgot my cigarettes." And
Oh,
you
gotta go
know
back
what Tommy's thinking is,
inside.
"Oh, yeah, sure, you forgot your cigarettes. Oh, no, I got to have my cigarettes." So, yeah, so they're all waiting in their cars. Tommy's by himself in the first one, the goon squad behind them, patiently just staring him down in the car. And Michael going back in, sitting at the bar, lighting a cigarette, drinking a whiskey as he waits for the bomb to go off. And it's
And
not
go
an
off it does.
actual, yeah. Well, and it's not an actual like song. It was just like from what I can tell, it was just a piece that was written for this part of the episode. But dude, that music in the background like kills it to me. Like I mean, I already had a feeling of what was going to happen and everything, like watching it the first time through, but that music just like really adds to the intensity of the scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There
I
are a
think it was
couple
just a great piece, man.
songs that I really hate in this episode, but there's like most of like the piano, like really ominous piano stuff that they do is really good in this episode.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, real quick, I have to
I
ask.
I don't like the song at the end of the episode.
No, really,
Yeah.
dude, I
I
love
I
that song. I thought
thought
it was a great
maybe
fitting in.
I thought maybe I did. Like at first I was like, oh, maybe I kind of like this. And it's like the more I've listened to it, the more I'm like, I don't think I like this.
Dude, come on, man. I loved
I
it.
don't
But
know.
we'll
I don't
we'll get
know.
to that. Anyway, the bomb goes off as there's a bunch of intense looks from everybody. And as the bomb goes off, Michael stares upward as he says, "Mom, it's done, it's finished." And notice he leaves his gun out on the bar, which yeah, it's like, why would you do that, dude? I mean, like
Oops,
seriously.
left my gun, guys. Hold
Oops,
on.
now I
Be
left
right
my
back.
gun. Yeah, you should have said that to Tommy.
Forgetful
Oh, forgot
Michael.
my gun. Yeah. So as he comes out, he finally notices that the person who emerges from the car is Tommy from the very first car. And that's when we find out that Johnny Dogs is there with him. And Johnny Dogs is the one who switched the ticker, as he liked to call it. I like
I
the
switched
part
the
though. It's
ticker,
kind of
Tom.
interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting though when he asked Tommy, he's like, tell me I did a good thing, and Tommy doesn't even like respond to him, which is kind of weird. But I guess he's just so focused on the moment, and
Yeah.
having a bomb going off right behind your head probably really rattles you. I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
And like Johnny's never like killed for him that we know of. He'll
true.
dispose of the
Yeah,
bodies and stuff like
that's
that,
true.
but we don't know of Johnny killing anyone for Tommy. And that's basically what he
That
just
is,
did.
yeah, that's very true. I didn't think about that. So I like the part too where Johnny Dogs tells him, "I'm gonna go look at the fog."
Yep.
It's like, "Ugh, I don't want to be here. This is too awkward." So um, Johnny Dogs and Michael say their goodbyes to each other as
It's like, bye,
Tommy,
Michael.
yeah, bye, Michael. So Tommy wants to know, man. He wants to hear. He tells him, "Speak. Tell me, spill it all now because this is it." And Michael's got some good points. He not the first point, obviously, But he tells him, you killed, you got my mom killed basically. And Tommy's trying to tell him, no, it wasn't me. It's just things happen. I mean, there's consequences for different things and whatnot. But I like the part that I'm talking about that I feel is true is when Michael tells him that they can't really do anything without him being there. His hand is always his lethal hand. Was it no his lethal? How do you
It
say it? His
was
lethal grip or something like that is always on our shoulders.
yeah, your
I had it
lethal
written
hand
down
is
here.
always on our shoulder.
Yeah. So and I mean, I think Tommy kind of understands that too because it kind of goes back to the whole thing of you're cursed. It's like anything that you do, you're gonna get people around you hurt because of the actions that you take against certain people and such. Um, but he finally just tells Michael that, Polly speaks to me. It's not just you, it's me too. And she's not gonna visit me anymore. And then he shoots him dead in the eye. Kaboom!
Kaboom.
Kaboom! What is it? I thought about that today too when It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Mac and Charlie die, part two. And at the very end, when they come out with DA, kaboom!
Like, we just blew your mind,
We
bitches.
just blew your mind. Yeah. So yeah, that's that scene. Oh, and
Ooh,
then we figure out what happened?
my headphones must have like disconnected a little bit. It was just like super loud, staticky.
Whoa. Um, then we find out who the hotel guest was. One Alfie Solomons,
Yeah,
who hasn't been seen since like episode 2 of season 6, I think.
yeah,
So they're here to uh, finish the final act of Alfie's opera, which is now completed now that all the Irish are wiped out in Boston and he has control of half of Boston at least. And now we get to find out too that somebody wanted to marry that ugly man with his one-eyed self,
yeah,
some circus lady. So I like
yeah,
the part too when he's talking about the wedding. He's like, it's a circus family, and once we were married, we rode off on elephants.
yeah,
Yeah, but the other part in this scene is to me about foreshadowing is when they start kind of talking about death, it's eventual and stuff like that. And Arthur said, or not Arthur, Alfie says, as a man who's been dead for several years, I can only heartily recommend it. And so I don't know how you feel, but I feel like that kind of foreshadows the very end there of the episode when Tommy's riding off. I think he kind of feels like I'm dead to the world now, and I'm kind of free, and I can come and go as I please. Kind of
yeah.
like Alfie has been for the last several years.
Yeah.
So
Um. So, oh yeah, and then he just like, I mean, he tells Alfie like what's up. He tells him that he's sick, that he's dying, basically. So then this is kind of Tommy's farewell tour.
his
Um,
swan song.
yeah, he blows up Arrow House. He takes everybody out in a caravan in the woods, and they're just having a lunch out there, and he's kind of vaguely giving his goodbyes to people because he's not trying to let anybody know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And he just tells everybody he's going away. And then we get that with what Linda said about Arthur. So we're kind of up in the air about Arthur. We don't know, if he'll be, if he might pop up in a spin-off or a movie or anything like that. That might just be the end of his story too. So
True.
um I put depressing wagon scene.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
It's been a month that Tommy's been out there and nobody knows. I mean, Arthur was the only one who knew that he was even sick.
Yeah.
So nobody really knows, where he's gone or what he's doing. Um, he,
Which is interesting to me. I mean, he's been out there for a month. Do you think he's been flipping the coin every day for a month to figure out if he wants to kill himself that day? Like, that's a lot of
mm,
no's.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Either
But yeah,
way, that day he decides to flip it.
yeah. And I just thought it was interesting that we went back to that because isn't it like is the first episode?
Yeah, I believe it's the first episode. Which, him going into that into the wagon, you see a bunch of old pictures, you see family photos, you see photos of Grace, just a bunch of different memorabilia from his
His
past and from
life.
the and
Yeah.
from the whole season. Yeah. Which I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, that should be, I think it was from the first episode of the very first season that he flipped a coin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If not the first one, it'd be the second episode. But yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of wonder where we were going. Like, I mean, you look at the amount of time that's left in the episode. You're like, okay, is he really going to kill himself? Like, plus, we've had plenty of those scenes with Tommy where he puts the gun to his head,
Yeah, all last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so just as he's about to pull the trigger, he hears Ruby calling to him outside. So he goes out and he can see her, he runs to her, and then she tells him without ever opening her mouth, which is like super creepy. Um,
Yeah, weird.
it's just like just telepathically like, "Mom, you don't have cancer, Dad." Um,
Cancer
so
free, cancer free, cancer free.
yeah, she just kind of talks him through the situation, says, "Get warm
Yeah.
by the fire." Um, you've let the fire go out. I feel like that's kind of important. You've let the fire go
Yeah.
out. You gotta start it back up. um,
Man, at this point too, like his after she disappears and before he lights the fire, you can just tell like he's on the ground. He's just like so disappointed. It's like, what do I gotta do to just die? I mean, like
yeah,
seriously, at this point,
yeah,
you know, it's like he's said it before. What he said in the first episode of the season. He was talking to his mom. He said, "They won't let me pass. They won't let me pass." And so it's just like, what do I got to do to get a ticket on this boat?
yeah. Um, and that's when he starts putting it all together. The part
Yeah.
of the newspaper that he had been burning was super conveniently a
Yeah. What's
um
this?
yeah, the wedding announcement about Mosley and Diana, and there's a full picture that has them with like Hitler and a bunch of other people in it. And he recognized two of the people in the photo as his doctor that he's had for the last 3 years, and another doctor that his doctor sent him to for a second opinion.
Yeah.
And then he starts putting all the pieces together. Then it all starts falling into place.
Yeah.
I did not see any of that coming. Like, I did not see fake illness as like a possibility.
But at first you're kind of like, what? I mean, come on, really? Is this the best we got? But then when he goes to visit the doctor and they're kind of talking about, the illness and not having it and everything, it makes sense because it's so true that after 6 seasons and all these people that have tried to kill Tommy Shelby, nobody can do it. And so finally, somebody realized the truth that the only person that could kill Tommy Shelby is Tommy Shelby. And even at that, he had a hard time trying to do it the last season,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
that's pretty
sure.
crazy.
Yeah. So after they, kind of go back and forth and, you know, Tom explains to him kind of what you were saying, that they figured out the only person that could defeat him was himself.
Right. And the whole
Um,
time the doctor's trying to defend himself of, look, you don't have to kill me. This is not you. You've risen from the streets of, the poor to the House of Commons, and killing people is not in your nature anymore. You don't have to do this. And Tommy is just convinced it's like, yeah, no, this is still me. I'm back. Which, did you notice too that when he says that, he kind of cracked a little bit of a smile when he said,
uh,
I'm back? Yeah, I just noticed it this last time watching. I was like, oh, he smiled.
um, so what was the deal with the armistice, like the 11th hour?
What do you mean?
Like, why? What was he talking about? I have no idea what that means.
Okay, so the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918, Armistice Day. That's when the treaty was signed between countries and World War One was officially ended. So
Okay.
it's armistice is peace. But yeah, it was all brought together on November 11th, 1918. Officially ends at 11 a.m. And so when the bell tolls, he's about to pull the gun on him, or he's about to shoot, and the bell tolls. He kind of stops, looks at his watch, and it's 11 a.m. And it's almost like he feels like it's kind of a sign. Not saying that it's, never November 11th or anything, because I'm sure being out there in a wagon by himself for a month, he's probably lost track of time in
Yeah.
general, day wise. But the 11th hour, he just kind of thinks to himself, it's like, it's armistice. There's peace. He's right. I don't have to do this. I'm at peace now. Now
Yeah.
what he would have done after that, if the doctor wouldn't have ordered his, whatever that guy is to him, butler or whatever, to go burn the wagon of the gypsy who he didn't even know who it was. He didn't know it was Tommy.
Yeah.
Um, but who would have known what Tommy would have done if his wagon was still, in good condition and not burning? um, who knows? I don't know if he would have gone back to his family. I don't know. I don't know what he would have done, but
Yeah.
he just kind of has this realization. I feel like it's starting to come together for him that he doesn't have to be the person that he's been for these last 6 seasons. He can change. He can be that good person that he's been talking about this whole season. He can go a different route. Again, he's been by himself for a month, so he could go wherever he wants, probably, because nobody knows where he's at. And then when he goes back to the wagon and it's on fire, I thought it was pretty interesting because he's pulling his gun, he's going to shoot this guy, whoever he is that's burning his wagon. Side note too, I thought it's really interesting the way when people like douse gasoline, like the way that guy was doing it. It's like, dude, that thing's got to be like getting on you
Yeah.
too. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, okay, you probably got soaked in it too, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's funny when he's kind of chasing him off, he kind of looks over at the wagon and he kind of almost does like a double take and forgets that guy and is just like fixated on the wagon. And it's crazy because, like, the whole burning of the wagons in their culture and in their family means that somebody's died, they're in there, that's basically their burial, for their funeral. And so it's almost like he's sitting there and he's watching his own death, his own funeral. And I think again that goes with the whole, peace. I'm a good man. I can be somebody different now because that Tommy Shelby is dying. He's burning. He's done with. And now I can be the different person. Riding on the white horse. You notice at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of the series, he rides in on a black horse, which is technically kind of meant to be I don't want to say death, but I mean it's kind of an evil look, dark horse. And then you also go back to in this season, I think it was episode 3 when Ada is talking to Lady Diana about the Egyptian um, pottery, and it's got the two riders on the vase, the guy on the white horse and the guy on the black horse. One represents death, one represents life. And so he rides in on a black horse in the first episode of the very first season. And now he's riding out on a white horse in the final episode of the series, signifying he's got a new life. He's now able to be that good man that he wants to be. And I thought that shot, I would really like to know how they did that shot of like looking through the wagon with like the fire and everything to like to see him, and then like the beautiful mountains and hills and everything in the background. That's just so cool to me. And I
Yeah.
remember watching it the first time too. I almost like wanted to interpretate like that shot of like, and this may sound weird, but like almost like the gates of hell, like looking outward to like him on this earth, and almost like welcoming him in, but he's not ready to come in yet. And I say that because, he's talked about, I don't believe in God and all this different stuff over time. And there's always been this belief that, he's going to go to hell. He's going to burn for what he does, what he's done, and different stuff like that. Alfie said it in the hotel scene about, when the shoe drops in Judgment, dude, you're going to be screwed, you know. And so I'm not saying that's what that is signifying, but I thought that was kind of cool the first time I saw it. I was like, yeah, it's almost, to me, it's almost like the gates of hell saying, come on in, Tommy Shelby, come on
Yeah.
in, man. And he's like, I'm good. I've still got business to do. What he's riding off to do, I don't know. Cause I almost wonder, okay, is he going to ride back to his family? Or is he just going to ride off and go start a new life? Is he going to ride off and go take care of the people that wanted him dead in this season, like Mosley and Lady Diana and all those different people? There's so
Yeah.
many questions to the end of this scene. But
Yeah.
personally, I know you don't like it, man, but personally I thought this song was really good. um I don't know, I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I just thought it was really good. I can't explain it, man. I just thought it was a really good. I'm not saying that I like the artist or anything, and the singing is a little weird, kind of, but I don't know. It just felt like a really good, to me personally, it felt like a really good ending song to wrap up everything and all the emotions and everything that he's carried throughout the whole series.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm done talking. Oh,
Um,
let me say this real quick before I forget it. One of my biggest gripes about this season, and I don't know if you noticed either, where the hell is what's his name? The Irish, or the, yeah, was it that? No, the Scottish, was it Irish or Scottish guy from the last season? The bad guy. The Billy Boys.
oh,
That guy's name.
I don't remember.
I was so disappointed that they did not bring him back, because it felt like it was so like, what happened to him?
Yeah. I don't know. He's a B player.
Meh, what are you talking about?
I mean, they were just kind of like Mosley's henchmen,
Yeah, but at the beginning of season 5, it was like, okay, this is gonna be a guy that Tommy's gonna have to kill because he wants to kill Tommy, you know? And then it's like, then they kind of turned it into, well, they kind of have to work with each other because of Mosley, and then he just disappears. It's like, okay, I don't know. I would have liked some like resolution to that.
Yeah. Something, just
But
something. Yeah.
something. Yeah, I mean, they, no mentions, nothing. It was just like he just disappeared and that was it. Much like the famous painter of what,
Oh, yeah.
season 3.
Yeah. That guy just disappeared.
Yeah. That's all I can think of
Okay.
though, man. I don't think I have anything else to say about um that it's ending scene or anything like that. So did
Yeah.
you like the ending scene
Yeah.
besides the
Yeah, it was
music?
good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk more about our feelings on the series overall and kind of how, things began, how things ended, stuff like that. We can talk about that in the tiny sode too.
Good thing you said that because I've planned on doing that. So yeah, that's good.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll have another tiny sode coming out next week, the last one for this show. So make sure you catch that one. It'll be kind of a series overview, and I don't know what else you have planned for that, but
Yeah. Oh, here's a question for you real quick. I forgot to ask you this. Okay. Obviously, again, you weren't a fan of the song, the final song in the series.
no, I don't
Would
like the
you
song.
huh?
I said no, I don't like the song.
Okay, would you have rather them played this instead?
Rise up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise don't let it
up,
go
gotta
through the
get
whole
higher
thing.
and
There's so
higher.
many of
Rise
them.
up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise
Just
up,
make
gotta
it
get
stop.
higher and higher. Rise up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise up, gotta get higher and higher. Rise up, gotta get higher and higher.
Do you know how many people just turned it off just now? It's over. It's over for those people. The episode ended. Oh my god.
Let us know which one you would have rather heard at the end of season 6, episode 6, when Tommy rides off. All the tired horses or rise up.
Until next week, make sure you guys go over to YouTube and follow us at the Red Right Hand Podcast on Is Survived by Productions. You can follow us on Twitter at Red Right Hand PO1. That's where you'll be getting news about our other shows that are about to start. One on House of the Dragon, and the other one called History of Cores, which is a music podcast. You can also follow me over on Twitch at GhostLad676. And my personal on Twitter at Joshua Lynn Gary, which should just be down at the bottom there. Is that it? I think that's it.
I think that's
all
it,
of them.
man. I think that's it.
All right, we'll see you guys back next week for the last one.
The last tiny sode.
Respect, bitch.